roughly, or even shorter than that, how far that is from here. And knowing you can hear the shooting, but knowing that they're right there wanting to get in. Palestinians are not all Hamas. It's not, Hamas is an extremist terrorist organization. There's a lot of loss of life. And when we see the pictures, and we all have seen them of what's going on in Gaza, and the children, and the women, and the elderly, and not knowing, can they go north, can they go south? I mean, my heart bleeds for that. That's really difficult to see. And how do you defeat an enemy that's hiding in schools, in places of worship, in hospitals, in tunnels? I understand when I see the equivalent of what went on during World War II, when we bombed Japan, when the U.S. bombed Germany. It still hurts, it's loss of life. And that's a hard one. It's a hard one to deal with, for me. I think for all of us.
There's words like genocide being used. Could you, from your perspective,
sure.
and then people may have questions too, but especially as of the last couple of days.
The genocide is obviously a sensitive issue. I do a lot of Holocaust education. I've taken between 65 and 70 groups to Poland. Some other places also, other Eastern European countries, touring the concentration camps, the death camps. So I've been in the site of gas chambers and crematoriums and places of torture, and I've been deal with that. In fact, I was supposed to get take a seminar just when this broke out at a nearby kibbutz called Yad Mordechai, named after Mordechai Yankelevich, who was the leader of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. So I've been cramming information because I wanted to guide that museum. So I've been reading a lot up to this day, October 7th, restudying the Holocaust numbers and the towns and the buildup and all that. I'm dealing with hundreds of thousands, millions of people being killed. And all that was in my psyche when this hit. So I heard, well, 1,200. For some reason I played a number game, which is, you can't do. But then we talk about genocide. Genocide, we're talking just a little about, Hitler really zeroed in on trying to eradicate the Jewish people. Not just the Jews in Poland, in Eastern Europe, or Europe. The goal was to eradicate Jews all around the world. And that was to just take out one people. That was genocide. Here, Israel isn't determined to kill all the Palestinian people. I believe they are determined to eradicate all the Hamas terrorists. So I think the terminology, for me, is quite disturbing, and I'm curious how the Hague Court rules on it, and are they actually objective, and is it really a fair judicial system? The UN, unfortunately, for many years, has been leaning in a different direction, and I think it hasn't been really fair to Israel and other places like that. I think some countries have stood up for it. So the genocide issue is a really sensitive one, and for me it's not equivalent in any way. And I don't think Israel would ever say we want to eradicate the Palestinians. There's some extremists, but one had been in the parliament, in the Knesset, years ago. Mayor Kahane had been kicked out of that because of racist remarks. Unfortunately, there's a fringe racist group in Israel. Hopefully, there are a couple who actually are in the Knesset, in the parliament. Hopefully, after all this, they will be asked to leave, or they will be voted out, and the polls show that. But for me, they're a disgrace of humanity to say that all Palestinians, you can't say all people of any kind. So my personal leanings is more central left. I'm hoping that after this, I think there'll be a change of government. I hope there'll be a change of government. I hope there'll be a look at the judicial system, at justice, at fairness, of equality of all peoples. And I think we need to be the nation of Israel is supposed to be a light unto nations, a spiritual light for all of us, a moral, ethical place to live, and that's why I moved my family there. I moved to Israel in 1993. I had 2 children at the time. I didn't want them to grow up with a schizophrenic identity of being, I'm Mark and my Hebrew name is Moshe, which is Moses. I wanted their Jewish identity to be smooth and easy and to feel proud. I went for religious reasons. I had worked in Jewish education many years. I felt hypocritical to teach Lech Lecha, which is the portion of the Torah that says God says to Abraham, and I look at Abraham and Sarah together, leave your parents' house and go to the land I tell you, and lead an ethical life. And from that, you'll be more numerous than the stars, the grains of sand. I felt I couldn't teach that anymore to children if I didn't do it myself. And I wanted my kids to grow up in that environment. I wanted to be proud of being Jewish, and I wanted to be proud of the state of Israel as well. They're scattered now. I have one in Anaheim, very close to here, who's a social worker. I have a daughter who's in Berlin. And they're both married. And then I have my youngest who's in Jerusalem, who is in the last year of college, who their college is just starting now. It's supposed to start in October, just starting the end of this month. I hope for peace. I hope when I went, my children wouldn't have to serve in the Army, but all three did. And I hope there'll be a time that we can actually put the weapons down.
I think we're trying to, the definition of genocide, the eradication of people because of their ethnicity, of who they are, exactly what happened in the Holocaust. So that's the question being discussed at The Hague right now. And then thank you for bringing up how complicated, it's just like here in the United States, we have people who are in the far, far right that say insidious things and are in our Congress. They'd say they never represent us. And things were said by certain members of the Knesset that said, we are here to eradicate Palestinians. And I like that you're making the differentiation. That those are far, far right folks, just like we have our far, far right folks too. So thanks for clarifying that, because that has been, people have heard that, right?
Yes.
And if you don't remember, the Knesset's prime minister with and not a presidential, it's not tricameral like we are. You are elected with the majority of your party. Netanyahu did not get the majority, so he has the far right supporting him so he could be in office. So he has a very tenuous coalition. And like you said, every Saturday before that Saturday, Israelis of all identification cards were out marching in Tel Aviv every night, saying we do not want to be this country. So and that's why you hear Biden going, we're waiting for the day after. We're waiting for the day after. It's just very hard when there's so much suffering in the now. So that's why you're hearing him say that the United States already has concerns for the Netanyahu administration now. So just that all has gotten complicated and in the mix because of this now the war. So I just wanted to, we are hearing words all in mainline media, and so folks that have just gotten introduced to it as of late, it can be confusing. So I just was trying to help. That helped, right, everybody? That helped?
Yeah. Please.
Which entity arms the all of the rebels?
Hamas
and Hezbollah. Which entity provides
Iran.
them? Iran. Where does Iran get their weapons?
I don't know where they purchase it. I don't have that information.
Iran's a big country with talented people. They got 90 million people. They make they make most of their own weapons.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're working on their
The big
one.
nuclear bomb within years.
Yeah.
It's all good.
I was born in 1942 in Germany, and I have searing memories of American bombs falling in the road that my father and mother and I were fleeing.
Wow.
And as a teacher of history, German history, I know that 60 million people died in World War II. And the SS Schutzstaffel, they were eliminating physically handicapped, mentally handicapped, political prisoners, clergymen, as well as the Jewish population. So about 6 million non-Jewish and 6 million Jewish people were exterminated. I have been in Dachau with my students. We need more history being taught
Yes.
about that, and
Yeah.
thank you for doing that here.
When I'm in Poland, I clarify the numbers, that we talk about 6 million Jews, but I've used more than the number, 11 million total that were earmarked for death. Please.
Yeah, I'm interested in your response to something, I don't know if I should say or not. It's the visceralness of this whole thing that is part of maybe even our human evolution, survival of the fittest, whatever DNA of that we still have going on. I'm kind of a left, center, left guy on most all these things. But I feel like when this attack happened October 7th, I think I would be part of a response that says, within my lifetime, there was an attempt to exterminate, literally machine gun and poison and gas and bury all my people. This little thing today, I'm going to strike back 10 to 20, 30, 40, 50 times as hard as you were struck us. Because that can't happen anymore. I don't care what the politics are and everything else, but I would just think there's a whole lot of visceralness to this that, you know, I'm part of a family that got mutilated. You come and even begin to think you're going to mutilate anybody of my family again, you're dead. Now, we can't do that, I know that, on the world stage. But boy, I understand that feeling. I don't know if that's a feeling people in Israel would have, but boy, I think I would have, just as a family person, that you made a big mistake.
Yeah.
Because you're going to suffer, and other people are going to suffer because of your mistake who don't deserve to suffer. But there's nothing I can do other than react viscerally.